Welcome to the Coffee with Karen podcast, a weekly chat show discussing everything from holistic health to current affairs from a mental, physical, and spiritual perspective. Get your weekly cup of positivity with a sprinkling of woo-woo.
So we are live. So welcome to today's show. It's Monday and this is going out on Mintwave Radio. If you want to take a look at the schedule for the rest of the week, go to this website, karenrobertscoaching.com/mintwave-radio. And if this is a podcast on a Coffee with Karen, you can also go to the same page and find other podcasts that are in our network. Please feel free to follow any that take your fancy. Feel free to leave a comment as well. So today's episode is 145. My goodness. And today we have Stacie Walker with us. And she's a coach and she's an author and she's a digital marketing strategist and business coach. So I'm your host. My name's Karen Roberts, and we're just providing a platform for coaches to get their message heard. If you want to have your own podcast, then get in touch. So Stacie is going to be talking about embody your wealthy CEO identity for more impact, clients, and cash flow. So welcome to the show, Stacie.
Hello, Karen. So honored to be here. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Now, with regards to what you do, cover quite a big range. Stacie is a digital marketing strategist, business coach, as I've just said, and the founder of Unleash Your Ambition LLC. She helps people design a high converting client attraction process for their coaching or consulting businesses without experiencing overwhelm or burnout. Been there, done that. They're able to simplify their business and make 5-figure months their normal, right? Which is what so many people are aspiring to do. So, yeah, if you'd like to share with the audience, first of all, maybe a little bit of your backstory, how you came to be doing what you're currently doing.
Absolutely. So I started my entrepreneurial journey in 2008 before we have the ease of access that we do now in 2023. It's so easy now to start a business, get the word out about your business, and make money through your business. So being able to come into the entrepreneurial space with no experience, I never knew any entrepreneurs. Matter of fact, I didn't even think it was even an option for me to be my own business owner. It happened because I ended up getting so sick that I was on bed rest for almost a year, which meant that I needed to make money. I had my family to take care of. I could not work my traditional career, which I worked for the University of Texas Health Science Center in San Antonio. Couldn't do that. So I was in a situation to where we were going to lose the roof over our heads, or I was going to do something about it. I chose to do something about it. And I just went scourging online looking for a work at home job, not a business opportunity. And I did come across a work at home job, a business opportunity that was guised as a work at home job. Had the conversation with one of my first mentors, and she encouraged me to go ahead and give it a shot. So I worked for a network marketing company in the early stages of my business, but I ended up parting ways 6 months later because I learned the skill set of online marketing and started helping other network marketers build their businesses online, which was not the norm back in 2008. Back then, network marketing companies, you had to hold meetings and do the list of 100 family members, friends and family members who probably aren't even qualified for the product that you're selling anyway. So being able to work with other network marketing companies and help them build their businesses online, I fell in love with it, started my own business, and I haven't looked back since.
Awesome. It's interesting that many do come in from the network marketing arena, and I'm not dissing them because they're great, but the thing is, you're not in control. And how many stay around? I mean, I know there's plenty that have been around for years, but it's a scary place anyway to start your business, and not having that kind of control where things happen, right? They
Yeah.
close down, they change. I know I was involved in one many years ago and it changed. So the ingredients changed and it wasn't aligning with my values and ethics anymore. So I didn't want to be involved. But when you have your own business, then it's down to you. How did it feel when you first started that?
Oh, Karen, it was like the most empowering and oh my gosh, it was like an adrenaline rush because I finally saw the possibilities of what was available to me and the impact I could make and the money I could make, and not the sky was the limit. Like I saw the possibilities and I was just like, you know what? I can do this. Even though I had my family, my parents mainly, they were thought I was out of my mind. Out of my mind. I come from a household where we get an education, we get that career, we stay at that career until we retire. I went the whole other way. And my family, mom and dad particularly, they discouraged me for the longest time. I got insulted, I got degraded, but I didn't listen to it. It was out of spite. I'm going to make this work. And I made it work. And of course, now my family is very supportive of me now.
That's very common though, isn't it? We
Yeah,
hear this all the
very.
time that when I think it's because we've been conditioned to, like you
Mhm.
say, the way through is to go to uni or get whatever qualifications you can get so you can get a good job and then you get a good pension and all of that, which I don't
Mhm.
even know. Don't know about you over there, but in the UK, I think that's gone. That
Yeah, it's
dream
gone
has
here.
gone anyway. But it always seems like the safe option. And isn't it funny that it quite often, and I get it, they've got that your best interests at heart, they're
Mhm.
concerned that, the what if, but it doesn't help us, does it? Sometimes
No.
all we need is a little bit of emotional support to say, yeah, you're doing the right thing, keep going.
That's what I wanted. I wanted that, but I didn't get it, so I had to find it elsewhere. And I always recommend anyone that I work with or just sharing a message saying that you need to immerse yourself in an environment that's going to allow you to thrive. Because if you don't, you're going to get sucked down. It's going to happen. I started doubting myself and what I was capable of doing. And, but if I didn't intentionally create a network of people who knew my goals, who understood what I was wanting to build, not only my business, but my life, if I didn't have them, I probably would have quit a long time ago, for sure. For sure. And I understand, yes, I if you don't know of anything else, if you've only gone to uni, and then of course my grandparents on my mom's side grew up very poor, did not go to uni. So it seemed like in their eyes I was taking a step back. But I was like, this is better than a job. This is me being able to not only do something that I love, but I can actually create jobs for other people and make a bigger impact. And honestly, I never felt great with having a job. I did a lot of job hopping from 16 to 23 until I got my uni job, my university job. And because that was the career that you could retire at. And it's just, I got sick and that's why I'm not there anymore. And I have my own business. But I used to do a lot of job hopping. I always got bored with whatever I did. I was great at anything that I was assigned to do at any of my jobs, but I either got bored or I got fired because I would just not go in because I was just so over it. And for the longest time, I thought there was something wrong with me, but I came to realize that I needed a different type of outlet for me to thrive and be creative as a person. Like I really was not utilizing my unique gifts to not only enjoy the work that I do, but to provide service to earn income. So it now looking back, it totally makes sense why I could not hold down a job and why I'm doing the thing that I'm doing now. Because I don't have anything against a job because I don't think everyone is equipped to be an entrepreneur. Yes, the opportunities are definitely available to everyone, but some people just aren't equipped for it because it's hard. It's difficult and there's a lot of failing. You have to go through in order to succeed, and even when you succeed, you're going to fail some more. And plus, there's just so much growth that you have to do. and so many skill sets you have to learn in order to make it work. And a lot of people just are not ready for that. If I could go back to the 2008 version of myself, and if I told myself, you got to do all of these things in order to get reach the level of success that you have created in 2023, I definitely would have not gotten on board, because the person that I was in 2008, I'm completely different than what I am now. Two totally different people. And that goes into embodying your wealthy CEO identity, because I essentially took on a totally new identity in order for me to finally get the results that I wanted in my business.
Because there's more to it. That this is the thing, isn't it? So many
Mhm.
people, because of, I suppose, maybe the marketing that's been around for many years. And when you look at it, that, it's opened up the whole world to you. You
Yeah.
don't have to deal with just people in your local area. It sounds, wow, you could just be smashing it, but it takes time. So yeah, you're right. I think a lot of people think it's going to be just so easy
Mhm.
because you've got a bigger audience. But like you say, there are so many different skill sets that you need to get you there. And do you think, even coming from the network marketing
Mhm.
arena, because they put in so much of the self-development, which is massively important when you
Yeah.
are working for yourself, do you think that's part of it? Did that help you in the beginning?
Actually, I was not really much into personal development back then. I was biased because back then, I'm going to name a famous person, but I'm not saying it's just I didn't only think it was him, but Tony Robbins. Everybody knows who he is. That's why I'm going to use his name. But the way that I looked at personal growth was that Tony Robbins, or insert any personal development guru, that they were preying on people's weaknesses and trying to make money off of them. That was my view back then, because I always looked at, those are vulnerable people, and they're just paying this person money for things that I don't know. I don't know. That's where my mindset was, which was in the gutter, because I don't think that way anymore. It took me going through so much personal growth to get to where I am today, because there's no way I would live the life that I live and be able to actually, I say, unleash my brilliance if it wasn't for me growing. I wouldn't have been able to endure the failures, the rejection, the moments where I doubted myself if I was even able to even do this thing. The thing is that I think it definitely helps for sure, but it's not, I don't know. I think it's something that you're going to end up learning along the way anyway, because it's not anything on the outside really that's going to help you get the results that you want. It's an inside job first. The outside things are just tools that you can use in order to get a better outcome, but it always starts within the inside. Matter of fact, me being a marketing strategist, I didn't, like I said, Karen, I do not really get into sharing my personal development journey until about 2017. Because before then, I just didn't think, number one, I was equipped to share anything on that. And plus, number two, I was on my growth journey. So I was just being a student. I was trying to learn more about myself and how the mind works and how the subconscious mind works and how whatever is planted in your subconscious mind, that's definitely going to influence the results that you experience in life. So I think it's definitely helpful, but I came to this from a strategic, logical standpoint, but I hit a ceiling. And the reason why I
Yeah.
did is because I needed the personal growth. So you can definitely succeed without the personal growth factor, but I tell you, you will hit a ceiling because your mind can't outgrow your results. Like I was able to reach a certain point, but no matter what I did, what strategy I tried, no matter what I tried to do, I just could not break that ceiling. And once I started looking within, that's when my business took off, like a rocket ship.
Wow.
And that's when I realized that's a very important key to success. I know we hear about it all the time, but when you actually apply it, and you continue to apply it, to test it out to see if is this a fluke? Is this a fluke?
Yeah.
Is this really real? And even now, I still am like, is this a fluke? Because my mind is just like wanting to go back to default to the way my thoughts and beliefs and ideas that I had before I really started working on my personal growth. So
Mm.
it's a lifelong thing we have to
Yeah.
do. I'm a great student. I'm doing my best to be a great teacher, but because I infuse the personal growth into how I help the people that I work with, the whole brand of Unleash Your Ambition. It's not just about the strategy, it's about self care, self love, taking time off to think, to do the things that you love, and then also adopting and cultivating a growth mindset. So all of that is a recipe for great success. Like none of it can be separated because I've burned out, you've burned out. When I was successful in 2013 on paper on the outside, but on the inside, I was failing because my body was breaking down. I wasn't having great relationships with my husband, my oldest son. Even though I was physically there, I was not present at all because I was just so obsessed about my business and just focused on that. My growth journey started, I think my personal growth journey started when I took a 2-year hiatus off from my business to get my mind, body, and spirit right. Because I just saw myself going down a road to where it was going to end in early death if I did not do something about it.
Wow. But there it is. I think so many people do, because I suppose it's because it's an intangible, right? The
Yeah.
tools and strategies they can
Yeah.
see, and that's going to do that and that. But because, like you say, it's got to be the things combined. But until, do you think that you'll only get it if you experience it? So like you said, you're thinking, is it a fluke? So you'll only know for yourself. You can't just hear somebody saying
Yep.
that this is how it is. And it takes practice. It
Yeah.
doesn't happen overnight. And I think it's very much misunderstood
Mm.
that actually it takes work.
Yeah.
Doing the strategy and doing the, yes, that's the physical work.
Mhm.
Actually, the real work is doing the inner work. And that takes consistent practice. I think people just give up too quickly.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, if they're not seeing immediate results, ask and it's given. Yeah. Because,
Time delay.
it's just not quite
Right.
happening straight
Right.
away. But the combination, 100%, it all starts within. Share with us a little bit about this Embody Your Wealthy CEO identity.
So this came about because I needed a way to communicate how you have to step into your power because when you do put yourself on display, basically that's what we do as coaches, especially if we're working online. Like we have to be visible, we have to be able to share our message in an authentic way. So when you're embodying your wealthy CEO identity, like what does she or he look like? What do they do every day? Who are they friends with? What type of impact are they making in the world? How does your body feel? What type of thoughts are you thinking? What does your business look like? What kind of impact are you making? So it's basically a personal development type of thing that you can do to step to a new identity of the person who has already achieved the goals that you want. For example, with me embodying my wealthy CEO identity is me. I have $1 million business, a year business. I own 30 to 40 acres. We are renting out a part of that land to people who love the great outdoors experience. I'm donating to charities. I have a team of people who just really understand the whole mission behind Unleash Your Ambition. I feel younger than what I did when I was in my 20s. I have a beautiful relationship with my sons and my husband and also my extended family. I eat healthy. I make it a priority to make sure I take care of my body because There's no redo with this at all right now on this plane. I'm mentioning things that just I'm giving myself a new identity because I may not be at experiencing any of those things yet, but I want to live in that place all the time. And not to say that I'm ignoring the current reality, because I have to be grateful for the current reality that I've created and that I'm experiencing in order to get to the version of me who has those things and is living the life that I'm aiming for. So what this does, it allows you to really get into the feelings and the mental state of yourself who's already successful. Because here's the thing, every time, like, especially during the early stages of having a coaching business, I tell you, there's just a lot of mental junk you got to go through. First of all, you have to harness the magnetism around sales and selling. If you have any negative thoughts, beliefs, ideas around sales and selling, you're going to screw yourself over to the point to where you're not bringing in consistent income. So you have to take a look at, okay, I don't even have to take a look at what may have happened in the past that allowed me to adopt ideas that selling is sleazy or I'm going to come off icky. So forget about that. Let's talk about you harnessing the magnetism around sales and selling, because the people who are actively looking for you to help them every single day, they are waiting for you to say something. They are waiting to give you their money so you can help them get whatever they want. I always say improve the quality of their lives, because it doesn't matter what you're selling, you are improving the quality of somebody's life. You doing your best to embody that version of yourself every single day, multiple times a day, because there might be some days where you don't want to play that game. You're just like, you have a bad day or something happens and it sets you off. That's okay. Just do your best to get back into that energy. That way you can recalibrate, that way you can think a little bit better. That way you can be open to the opportunities that are around you, because opportunities are around us every single day, but we have to be in a certain state of mind in order to not only identify the opportunities but also take action on them. If I'm operating from a disempowered disempowered, that's the word I'm trying to look for, disempowered version of myself, if I'm telling myself, oh, Stacie, you're just not as good as this person and that person when it comes to that. Oh, I should be so much further than I am right now. Just all these disempowering thoughts. Guess what? I'm not going to see opportunities available to me that could help me in the areas where I need to grow and improve. Or maybe an opportunity to where I could actually enroll a new client into my highest level package. I won't see those opportunities just because of where my state of mind and awareness is. I'm too stuck in what has been, basically being stuck in the past, which a lot of us live there all the time. And it's pretty sad. And it's because we're not taught not only to live in the present and be grateful for the past, but also think about the future. What do you want to create from this moment forward? From this moment forward, like, it's just moment to moment, you coming from an empowered state, you thinking from an empowered state, even if there isn't any physical external evidence that you're living that life yet. It's common because you're thinking differently, you're acting different, you're being different. Things are going to line up. I don't understand how it works. It goes over my head, even though there's some simple ways of how people try to explain it. But again, it goes back to, you got to do the inner work in order to actually see if it's going to work for you. I could talk about this all day, but until you actually give it a shot and prove me wrong, you're not going to know. You're not going to get the results. It just will not happen. You're not able to step into your power to where you can build the company of your dreams, to where you can step into a place of being able to have healthy relationships with not only the people that you work with, but anyone that you come into contact with, that you come from a place of service, that you're not afraid to use your authentic voice, because those things are going to help you stand out from all the noise. Matter of fact, I have a client where she I did an audit of all of her social media posts or emails that she was sending out to her list, and she was not attracting her best fit one-on-one clients. And I was like, I know exactly why. You're not, I can tell you don't feel empowered from what you're communicating. A matter of fact, you're hiding. You're hiding. And she admitted that I was right. And I told her, you have to embody the wealthy CEO identity. Who is that person? Because she's in there. You stand for something. There's a reason why you help people with this thing and not that thing over there. Those are the things that you have to be talking about, not generic, inspiring stuff, which is fine. But in order for you to be for your dream client or customers to be magnetized to you, you need to resonate with them on a level to where they know you see them, you hear them, and you understand them. And then on top of that, they're curious about you because you're speaking a language that they get. It's landing with them. And no one can say it in the way that you do. So it is our job to not only get the attention of our best fit clients or customers, but to also bring them into our world to where they are going to know that without a shadow of a doubt that you're the one who can help them get what they want.
And where do you think this comes from? There is so many people, you're right, so many people are hiding. Like you said earlier about people, you can't stop the comparing yourself with,
Yeah.
everybody's got their own unique talents, their own tools in their toolbox, and there's enough for everyone.
Yeah.
When people, I think it's the scarcity mindset, the lack mindset that is stopping people from stepping out. They want to do this thing, they just want to help these people, but they're afraid to step out and put themselves up there, which is just counterproductive, isn't it?
Yes, and we know it is, but we do it. And
Yeah.
you ask, like, why do we do that? It's because we don't want to be judged. It's one thing when we judge ourselves. It's a whole nother thing when other people are judging us. And we I think we're conditioned to care what other people think and not really care about what we think about ourselves, which is completely backwards. It's ludicrous, right? If you care more about what you think of yourself, you're going to hold yourself to a higher standard. Whereas if you're caring about what other people think, you're going to start doing things that probably aren't even aligned with anything about who you truly are. And you're just focused on the outside again, right? Like, when you start a business, you have to get over the fact that people are going to judge you because guess what? People are judging you every single day, multiple times a day, whether you realize it or not. They judge you when you're driving down the street, somebody's judging you. And you didn't even do anything. But people are judging you daily, multiple times a day. It's not your job to try to please those people because who knows why that person's judging you. They might have some trauma they haven't dealt with. Who knows? I would say don't even focus on why that person's judging you, especially if even if they know who you are, that's their stuff to deal with. That's none of your business. What's your business is what you think about yourself. Are you holding yourself to a higher standard? Are you stepping into the version of yourself who is actually empowered and not afraid to use their voice? And this is something that I struggled with for a while because being an introvert, I did a lot of listening and not so much talking and observing. I'm one of those type of introverts. And then once I get comfortable with you, oh yeah, all my buck wildness is going to come out. But in the beginning, I'm just listening and observing because guess some of us get hurt by other people, and that can definitely affect how we show up. And it goes back to judgment. We don't want to be judged, but the thing is, you just got to get used to it. Again,
Yeah.
what do you think of yourself? It's about that. Who cares what other people think? It's about what do you think about yourself? Do you like you? Do you think you're holding yourself to standards to where not only you can make a positive impact in people's lives, but also make positive change in your family's lives and the family that comes after you if you have children, because those are the things that I think about every single day. Is I have two sons and I want them to be and look, I want them to be proud of me, but also I want them to learn by example that I don't care what other people think anymore, because there was a time when I did, to the point to where it literally harmed me. I put myself in some pretty bad situations because I was a people pleaser. I cared about what other people thought, even if it was going to cause me harm or get me in trouble or put myself last. I experienced all that until I was like, I'm not doing that no more. I'm not doing
Mm.
that, because it always got me in trouble. Every single
If I,
time.
if only it was taught in schools, huh? I think
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing. What you've just said there about, yeah, people are gonna judge. Oh, if only I could get my girls to get over that one. And yeah, man,
I
you're there.
know.
You're already massively successful, because that is a big thing. And I do think that holds a lot of people back. Whereas,
Mhm.
and look, we're human, right? And
Yeah,
I
of
know
course.
it's hard to not take things personally, but it
Yeah.
is, maybe it comes with age. Maybe I'm beyond that now, because it does definitely get older, get easier as you get older. But
Absolutely.
yeah, looking back, you're like, man, get over that, get over it,
Mhm.
and then flying.
Yes.
Because who cares? If they let them judge
Right.
their problem. And quite often it's their issues, because if there's any jealousy or anything, these are all negative. They're the only ones that it's harming. Not, it shouldn't be harming you. Don't allow it. But isn't it funny
Yes.
that we have been conditioned to give
Mhm.
our power away? But
Yes.
actually, I
Mm.
suppose this whole process then of starting your own business, dealing with the setbacks that you're gonna come on, Stacie. Do you know anybody who has had it plain sailing? Because
No.
I'd like to interview them. But the thing is, everybody just sees the end result, don't they? And then go, "Oh man, you're so lucky. I would love to be."
Mhm.
And you think, luck has
Right.
nothing to do with it.
And that's why it's so important to use your voice, share your message, to share those things, because people can relate to that. I don't like to share my highlight reels, because those highlight reels are just like a little moment in the whole thing that I was doing, where I was failing, I was doubting myself. I've had certain chapters in my business to where like I felt like giving up, even though I was getting the results that I wanted. There's just so much. So being able to use your voice and let people know, look, if you felt this way, you're not alone. And these are the things that I did to help me manage that. Like I have to manage my thoughts every single day. I by no means have figured it out about how to even eliminate that. I don't think there's a way to eliminate those thoughts. Thoughts are thoughts. They're not mine. They're just things that kind of go by. They're just like fleeting thoughts. So I need to really pay attention to which ones am I hooking onto and taking on as truth. Being able to share your not so great moments is a great way not only for people to trust you, but for you to let people know I'm human. I'm not some
Yeah.
unicorn. I'm someone that experienced these things, but despite those things, I still was able to create the life that I wanted and am still creating. Because a lot of people will look at successful people, because I know I was one of those people, to where I was like, oh, they have it easy. Of course they do, because there's so many variables of why somebody becomes successful. But we have to take a look at what variables do we have? What are some key things that we have that is an unfair advantage that's going to help us be successful? And I think sharing things that you've gone through and how you got over them is a very powerful way to share your message, because you're letting people know, number one, that you know what it was like on that other side, and you also have a process that you use to work through it to get you on the other side. So this can work in many different ways. That's why I talk about self-care, because I like to talk about how I burn myself out. I was eating these jumbo bags of lollipops. The dumb, I don't know if they have these in the UK, but like dumb lollipops, they usually have them in doctors' offices here in the US. I would go, I would get a bulk size one and I would eat those all day sitting at my desk working. And I'm typically a very active person. No, I ate those all day. I was working like 80 hours a week. I was miserable, but I was just so focused on the external success that I wasn't taking care of myself. I almost destroyed the relationships with my family over that, so I share it as a cautionary tale to the people who are very driven and want to get the results. But I'm about the whole brand of Unleash Your Ambition is about you actually working less and making more. You being able to put yourself first and actually create space in your life to actually not only design your version of an incredible life, but actually live it. We can't
Love
do
that.
that if we're just working all the time.
No, and you're not going to be as productive. And again, look, I've been there
Yeah.
and I'm still not through it. I know
Mhm.
I'm working more. I know it's not forever, it's transitional.
Yeah.
But yes, it's interesting when you do actually take a step back and spend time, like intentional time on self care.
Mhm.
Again, what I've found is that then when I do get to the computer, I'm far more productive.
Yeah.
So I get the job done better in a short amount of time than if I was, oh my God, I've got to get this done. And oh, I've got so much work. Oh, I'm busy being
Yeah.
busy.
Yes.
So actually, you waste a lot of time because you're too much thinking about it and
Mhm.
planning it and then procrastinating and then doubting and then all of this. And actually, you've just wasted hours
Yes.
and maybe not got far. But actually, if you went and took a break, went and got outdoors and gone for a walk or took a bath and chilled and or
Mhm.
meditated and then come back. So
Yeah.
yeah, like I say, you've got to dance between the three things. Yeah,
Yes.
you need to think, but I say that when I'm really on fire is actually when I'm unthinking. When I
Mhm.
shush Karen, because I talk
Mhm.
too much, shush verbally, shush mentally, then think and plan and then go and do. Wow. Yeah, I've cut that time in half. But it's so difficult, isn't it, to
Yeah.
really understand that in the beginning because
Yeah.
you think if you're thinking about the job that's ahead, it overwhelm must be a massive thing, I think, for people
I
for
think
not.
I think we're addicted to it. I think we're addicted
Yeah,
to chaos, drama, overwhelm. Not that we like it. It's just I don't know. It's like
subconsciously
everybody's
we.
we're all like that. Like it's a requirement, Karen, for my clients. Like before we work on anything strategic or anything, we're gonna get your calendar taken care of. Like when your non-negotiables of when you're working, when you're not working. Like today, where I'm at today, I take a week off every month, and I take Sundays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays off. And I didn't start there by any means because I went from working 80 hours a week to the schedule I have now would never happen. So I started with one day off, went to one day off a week, and then I started working my way up. But the rule was my income would not dip. Okay. So I work less. I have to make more or at least the baseline every quarter. So as you mentioned, Karen, about like having to think. Like me slowing down gave me time to really think about the things that I was doing that was producing specific results. So being able to slow down and those days that I'm off, right now it's winter time here. We're getting ready to get into spring actually. We're almost in the spring, I think in a week, maybe. But during the spring and summer, my family and I, we go out to the mountains with no internet, no electrical devices, and I force myself to get out there even though I love it. That's the place that I want to be, but before we go I'm just like, oh, I gotta do all this stuff, we're gonna be gone. I get frantic, but then when I leave and it's quiet, no electronic devices, I'm with the people I love, I'm in nature, and I just feel like a and I'm not worried
Wonderful.
about anything. I'm like, everything's gonna work out the way that it should. And when I get back, I tell you, I'm working from a much better place. And I have to do this before I start getting used to the chaos and the overwhelm. and the just going, because it's hard for me to turn my brain off. So I've had to set up non-negotiables and boundaries with myself in order to make this work so it won't happen. And
Brilliant.
it didn't happen overnight. It took me years to get to where I am right now with taking that many days off. Literally, I started doing this in 2018, like really doing it. It's taken a long time. I have clients that do it pretty quickly, and I have some, they don't believe me. Their brain is, no, that's not happening. And I'm
It
like,
goes
it will.
against our conditioning,
Yeah.
doesn't it? It goes
Mhm.
against our conditioning. But yeah,
Mhm.
you're like, yeah, I'm still in that to go and totally take off. Yeah, not quite yet.
Yeah. Yep.
But I agree. That's definitely the plan.
Mhm.
And somewhere I have to say that even before I would be working 7 days a week and
Mhm.
working the weekends, and then it'd be like, no, turn it off. Don't even
Yep.
look at it. I even went to actually just deleting the apps from my phone so that I
Mm.
can't even look at Facebook or LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So just step
Mhm.
away from social media, because we need it, don't we? Because we are distract, and that's probably half the problem with
Yeah.
people. If they just had a clear space and turn everything off when they had to go and do whatever it is they need to do, they'd probably again be far more productive, because we're
Mhm.
just so distracted. It's but yes, it's important for people to understand that, because yes, there are different stages of your business, and yes, in the beginning it is going to take work. But I love what you
Mhm.
said, word, set your boundaries
Yeah.
from the get go, because
Yes.
otherwise you'll get swallowed up.
Yep.
So yeah, fantastic advice. So tell us about your book.
There's two of them actually, and it was a collaboration, so I wasn't the sole author. The first one is Bold is Beautiful. Oh my goodness, what year was that? 2011, I believe. A friend of
Wow.
mine, Kim Boudreau Smith, she wanted me to share a chapter of many stories of my life, but a very particular chapter about being bold is beautiful. And I shared a story about how I was actually homeless for about a week, and I actually stayed in a stairwell in this hotel. I don't even know how many floors, 70 floors. And it was like the stairwell was for the service. So there's a place where it was like a little cubby hole. It was like a mini studio apartment. And I stayed in there, and I could hide in there because it was behind a fire hose. So I knew to stay there. And I shared about how and that was when I was pretty young. I must have been about 20, because this was before I was even pregnant with my first son. Yeah, I was a week homeless. And it was like one of those experiences where I was just like, what are you doing with your life? And my parents just did not allow me to go live with them. They were like, you need to straighten out your life. You can't live here. You got to figure it out. But eventually I was able to have a conversation with my dad, and I was able to start getting my life back together after I lived with him, after some set rules. But it was just I just wanted to share like just that whole experience about it. Was like I was the lowest of lows, and I knew I needed to share it because it was something that I was actually ashamed of. I had not publicly shared it until I wrote it in the book. And I knew that I needed to do that so I could heal and forgive myself. 20, oh, that's so young. I'm 46. Looking back, I'm just like, wow, I was a kid. Basically, my brain wasn't even developed all the way. I could see, like, of course, why I would mess that up back then. But I knew that it was me healing that part of my life was just really crucial to helping me continue to live the life that I wanted to live, make the impact that I wanted to make. And the second book is Better Business Books, and I just shared a chapter. I don't even remember what I shared. I have some core stories that I share, but I cannot think of what I shared in that book.
You'll have to go and buy
But
it then.
yeah, it's on Amazon for sure. But the first book, Bold is Beautiful, that's something that I was really proud of. That was my first experience with collaboration, which is the cornerstone of my business and life, because we can do so much together than alone, and it's a mutual beneficial thing. So those are the two books, and I don't know. I've danced around with, should I make my own solo book? I don't know yet.
Oh, something's a brewing. Yeah, so it all starts with that idea, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, with your program, if the listeners, if they can relate and they're going through something and they're enough is enough, and they're
Mhm.
ready to get started on something, how do they contact you?
Thank you. Yes. So they can go to unleashyourambition.com. Now, I have two programs right now. I have the Six Figure Foundation workshop, and that's where we work together for 3 months to where I help you. I actually hold your hand. We map it out together of creating a streamlined marketing and sales process so you can earn 5 figures US dollars in 90 days or less. My other program, it's a membership. It's pretty new, but it's not a membership where I have a ton of people coming in. I know you by name. I know what your goals are. It's close knit right now because it's new. I'm still building it out. But every week we have group coaching calls. Every other week we have Ask Me Anything sessions. And then that's more so for the beginner entrepreneur that doesn't understand the foundational pillars that to building a successful online business, because there's 5 of them that every successful online business has that's contributing to the results. So that's what we pretty much so go over in the membership. But once you have that understanding and you have an offer, you have all those things, then the next step would be the Six Figure Foundation workshop if that's what you want to do. And you can just go to unleashyourambition.com.
Awesome. And what do
Mm-hmm.
you think is the biggest? Because, yeah, I've seen many that when we've talked about mindset right at the
Mm-hmm.
beginning, and I would say the biggest transition is that the employee mindset over to business owner, because I suppose, you go to your job and you know what's expected of you. You've gone through their procedures, or you've had to read the folder, or your manager's told you what's expected of you today and every day, and then and that's just the weird thing. People don't procrastinate, do they, when it's a job? It's such a crazy thing that they struggle so much when they're on their own because they don't all have that in place yet. When you're in a job, you don't even question it. You just get on with it.
No.
And if you need help, then you ask for it and you get on with it. But
Yeah.
working by yourself, I don't know, there's this sort of unconscious thing that obviously they want success. Nobody presses that self-sabotage button because they want to fail. But we still do it in the beginning because we haven't got that accountability. So we can hide away and think, oh, well, I'm busy. I'm on Canva designing.
That's a big one right
busy.
there. I'm going to work on my website and redo these words.
I'm going to do this, and oh well, no, I've spent
Yeah.
all day doing it. Yeah, but that's not bringing you in the money. We play it, and I'm not dissing anybody for that, but
I
it
get
is.
it,
I'm sure
for
it's
sure.
an unconscious thing, isn't it? It's like we're avoiding doing the things that actually need to get done every day that are going to bring you
Mhm.
in the clients.
I think
But
that's part of it, for sure. That's part. I think the first thing is they're not really clear on what they really should be doing, because there's so much information online about what to do. And if you're following like 5 different people that have different types of business, different stages, how they do things, it's going to get pretty confusing pretty quick, which is why it's very important to work on building the foundation of your work, of your business, which comes with 5 pillars. If you know what those 5 pillars are, you're going to see very clearly what you should be focusing on and what you shouldn't. And then on top of that, yes, the mindset. But I think a lot of us come into this because we don't have clarity about like exactly what we should be focusing on that are actually going to give us the results that we want. A lot of people that come to me, they focus on the right things, but in the wrong order. I have someone that recently started working with me. She started with Facebook ads first and not building the foundation first. I The Facebook ads, those are tools that you use once the foundation's down. Once you have that down and you know what you should be doing every single day that you work your business, or even when you don't work, because there's tools that you can set up where your business is doing its thing while you're taking a week off. But she was so happy to come to me. She was hesitant at first because of the experience that she had. She has invested so much money, but she we had a conversation, she soon realized that she was focusing on things that were not building the foundation of her business for long-term sustainability and profitability. And that's not really her fault. It's just that there's just so much information out there, and you look at something and you think, oh, that's the thing that's going to fix my problem. If no, you
Yes.
have to build a foundation. That is not a trend. It's not a tactic. It's the thing that's going to keep your business going, whether you work or not. So you got to build that first before you do
Yeah.
all of these other things. And I know if I would have had that knowledge when I first started, I would have definitely not wasted 5 years. And I shouldn't say waste, because there were lessons in that 5 years, but the knowledge that I have now, that I'm equipped with now, like, I would have been so grateful if somebody would have told me that these things on.
Yeah, but that's for everything though, isn't it?
Yeah,
However,
right. Yeah.
sometimes, I think you need to, like you said at the beginning, it's even with the mindset stuff, it's a continual journey. Same with business. And I think sometimes maybe might be a good thing, because sometimes if that had worked and she hadn't got the foundations right, and then you wasted a load of money in Facebook ads with that, come on, it could be a bit of a disaster, which obviously it is big for many, because they have been told that just run Facebook ads, or you can just $5 to $10 a day on Facebook ad. Man, you're going to get rid of lots of $500 at a time because you haven't done it properly. And I still don't run Facebook ads, but
neither do I. I haven't had to do it, and I have a 6-figure business. It's because the foundation. I'm not against them. I will use them eventually, but right now I don't need to. I have demand, and everything's fine until I'm ready to stretch. But that's the thing. Like, some people, they might get great results. Like my client, she got great results, but she was breaking even. She quickly realized a lot of people that were buying her low-end offer, they were not the best fit for her one-on-one, which is where her real money would be coming in. They weren't the best fits. If her foundation was built, she would have been able to clarify. Her message would have been clarified to resonate with one-on-one clients, and those one-on-one clients would buy the low-end offer and would be great candidates for a one-on-one. But the program that she bought, like, and of course this person may have said it, I don't know, but basically the problem was that the person who sold the Facebook ads program didn't say, you shouldn't buy this if you haven't done this and this and that.
They're just trying to get a sale. And there be the thing. So you got to go with somebody who's going to be authentic, is going to tell you as it is. Yeah, a lesson learned. But sometimes, there's nothing wrong in having those lessons at the beginning. So that then when you are ready, you're not going to muck it up again.
Yeah.
It's been lovely speaking with you. Yeah, I love what you're doing. I have a very sort of similar outlook. And anybody, both your books are on Amazon, but do you want to mention them just one more time before we go?
Bold is Beautiful, and also the Better Business Book, Volume 3. I also have a podcast, Unleash Your Ambition podcast. I do have people on. A lot of it's solo, but I do have people on, and I have a YouTube channel. So there's different ways that you can connect with me on the interwebs. But the books are definitely on Amazon. You could even type in, I think if you just type in my name, Stacie, Stacie Walker, and maybe put bold or Bold is Beautiful, and it'll come up, because I do have an author profile there.
Awesome. Thank you for your time today. You go and have a wonderful rest of your day. I know mine's coming to the end, being this side of the pond. And to the listeners, I will actually be back tomorrow with a coffee with Karen. So bye for now.
Bye.
Coffee with Karen podcast, a weekly chat show discussing everything from holistic health to current affairs from a mental, physical, and spiritual perspective. Get your weekly cup of positivity with a sprinkling of